We are back with Norca Carter, Desiree Edhill, Charmin Prince, and Dr. Rodney.
Good afternoon.
Let us see if we can make this technology work for the benefit of all of us here this evening.
If I phase out, sorry, we're having a storm.
You're having a storm. Well, what else is new where you live? I mean, let's take an oxymoron. So, well, good evening, ladies.
Good evening.
Good evening. And again, once again, thank you for lending your voices to this serious issue, this epidemic. Charmin, you came on last week and you know, your topic was let's do something before it becomes a pandemic.
Yes.
These are some very serious concerns, Dr. Rodney. Talk about what is the country and some of the fears and concerns he has about if this thing is left unchecked. But we are here this evening to talk. I asked Dr. Rodney to join us because at the end of this segment there were some very interesting questions in the chat room. I wanted to give him an opportunity not just to answer those questions, but to participate in this conversation. This is the last segment, the last series of the 5-part series. And my hope is that it is not the end of the discussions. For those who are now tuning in, and quickly, what does each of you do for a living? Charmin, let's start with you.
I am a program director at one of the largest non-for-profit in New York City. I actually manage a 174-room facility that provides supportive housing for those individuals with mental illness, veterans, substance abusers, and people living with HIV/AIDS.
Desiree?
I'm the executive director of Artists in Direct Support. We're an organization that deals with social issues, primarily being funded to do HIV work in Guyana. We've been doing this for over 23 years.
And you, Norca?
I'm a recovery clinician and mental health specialist. I deal with primarily the severely mentally ill, and I work for a community hospital here in Indianapolis.
Oh, this is awesome. Each of you has some experience with counseling and working with mental health. The question I want to start off with is, and I guess is the question on most people's mind. Now that we've had the conversations, what are the next steps? Norco, let's start with you. What are some next steps that come to mind?
You mean for me personally, or for Guyana as a whole?
Well, for the whole issue, yes, the suicide epidemic issues.
For Guyana as a whole, even though we have addressed the issues, we still need to clear up some of the facts and the myths. Some of the facts and the myths are still there. I'm grateful that everyone is now discussing it openly for the most part. Mm-hmm. But I need people to continue the conversation. Don't just have it for one day or one rally. Continue the conversation. Take it home with you. Because you have to understand that when you leave for the day and all the festivities over, the problem still remains. So discuss the issue at home.
Dr. Rodney, I see you shaking your head. She speaks to your area.
Yes, she certainly does.
What do you think to that? What do you say to that?
You know, I concur with Norca for the simple reason it has to become an household term. It should be a dinner table discussion. It should be an office concern. It should be a concern of a colleague, a village. Every individual from every level needs to embrace this epidemic because it affects the entire nation.
And Desiree, what do you say?
I did say earlier that we need to hear more for each other. Last time we spoke, I spoke about attitudinal metamorphosis where we all need to change our attitude, especially where loving each other is concerned. We don't love and care for each other anymore. Most times when someone commits suicide, they feel hopeless and helpless, that no one is there for me, I'm in this alone. And I was saying to you earlier that I feel it really should start in the home. We should start by loving ourselves, loving our family, our children, letting them know that they're not alone in anything that they do. We're always there to support them. We have to support our spouses, because we can't tell our children we're going to support them and they must support each other. And we don't lead by example by supporting our spouses. And so I think we really need to start in the home. We're the days when we used to love each other so much, love our neighbors. Now we don't even know who our neighbors are, or we don't speak to our neighbors, and we don't care what's happening with our neighbors. I think we need to start caring for our neighbors, for their children, talking with them, not scolding. You don't want everyone to get upset and tell you off because you speak to their children. And if you see them looking lonely or any others, talk about it. Talk about it. I think I told you that they had done this diet on that little thing in school where they asked children how many of them talked about committing suicide. About 90% of them said yes, they did. Wow. And so I really think that it should start in the home, then the schools, then the community. It really should be a household discussion.
Desiree, you are on the ground. You were there in Guyana, actually, unlike the rest of us. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you witnessing that led you to this conclusion that there needs to be a sort of moratorium on love in the family, love in the home, and so on? What are you witnessing?
Because of the things that people say to each other, I think, you take away the things and abuse people, like, be careful who you tell your story to, because they might take it and use it against you. And there's a lot of that, even on social media. The people on the ground, people are talking about each other, taunting each other, making it fun. And this is a serious issue. And I remember someone saying, don't make suicide so expensive where you have to pay so much money to go to the Kite Falls and then jump over. And it's not funny. And so that worries me, that people are making fun of people who are committing suicide, people who really have serious issues. Because if you don't have issues, you wouldn't want to end your life. You find your life valuable, you don't want to live. And so I think the value that we should place on our lives, I don't think people are placing on each other's lives. Take this for a big joke. And that really bothers me.
Rodney, you see, but let me bring Charmin Princeton here for a second. Charmin, you want to get in on this?
I would just take it a little further. We're promoting having that discussion in the home, but if the parents are not educated and does not understand the importance of having that discussion, it would be a lost cause because they don't know how to have that discussion, how to actually develop the topic, how to introduce the topic at the dinner table, because they don't have the information. So my thing, the first thing is education. We have to raise awareness. I heard Desiree spoke about how desensitized the members of the society are. And they are that way because of a lack of information, a lack of education. They need the information. They need to know, understand, get a better understanding of suicide. Get a better understanding of the impact, the causes, the factors, the antecedents of suicide, in order to have that discussion at the dinner table. And how many parents are comfortable introducing that topic at the dinner table?
Dr. Rodney, I see you.
Yes. Now, the speaker before the last speaker mentioned that we need to involve and exercise love. What comes to mind is, am I to understand that love to the point where we enable our children in terms of giving them whatever they need, to the point that when we cannot afford it, then they tend to react and to say, well, you don't love me anymore, so then guess what? I'm going to do this as a means of revenge. If you can share some clarity on that. And secondly, to the second guest, I hear a lack of education, and that's my concern. Those of us who are educated, and I'm getting a feeling that we all are clinicians here. So hear me out. There have been situations where I actually, and by the way, I've been doing this thing for a while, that it becomes a part of you. And I hate to say it on this forum, but my wife tells me sometimes I'm too clinical. Well, guess what? My clinical judgment is always alert. And so when someone is not doing too well, I want to know why, and I make them smile. And there have been situations where I actually confronted people. I'm not saying that we all can do that, but what I'm saying is that because of what's happening, then one of the things that happened to me personally, I had to be retrained. I had to put down my Guyana hat, and for the last 34 years, I've been wearing several hats. So yes, there need to be a retraining, a reorientation of thinking and all of that. And guess what? We are the ones who will have to do it because we have the information.
All right, you asked a question, Dr. Rodney, for clarity. You asked for clarity about this love. And I want to give Desiree an opportunity to respond to that.
Yeah. I was speaking of love in terms of material things. Of love in terms of caring for the children. Let them know that you're always there for them. This has nothing to do with material things. There's a lot of times we don't even say to our children that we love them. We don't even behave toward them as if we love them. And that's the kind of love I was talking about. You want them to know that you will be there when they need someone to talk with or to discuss an issue, that I'm here for you, and I'll always be here to support you. Like I said, people who commit suicide always feel hopeless and helpless, and there's no one there for them. And so that's the kind of love I was talking about, where we can love each other, talk with each other, support each other. That kind of love, not material things, no.
Is that a good answer for you, Dr. Rodney?
Well, let me zero in. Can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
In Guyana, do we allow our children to look us straight in the eyes when they're talking and to have that eye contact? Because and there's a reason I'm asking. Like I said, I've left there 34 years ago. Back then, I could not have looked my grandmother straight in the eyes. My grandmother speaks to me, and the next thing you know, boy, don't look at me in my face. Now, do we still have those things happening? Help me out.
Oh no. With social media and children having access to all this information, children can look, as a matter of fact, sometimes parents think that it's rude when children look them in the eye and sometimes shaking their head with an attitude and saying the things that they want to say. And I think we're influenced by American television, where children are allowed to air their views, to tell their parents how they feel. And so that is happening sometimes. To me, it comes over like being rude because of the way they say it. And I guess that's something we have to work on. But it's something new for parents, where children feel empowered to look at their parents and tell them, sometimes not even say anything, but just look and raise their brows and say, hello. So children are not like they used to be long ago. This is a new generation, and they're more independent, more brave, I think, than I was when I was a child.
So we've touched on communication, which is a very important aspect of suicide prevention, suicide intervention, and so on. But I want to go to the chat room and ask some questions. And when we finish with the chat room questions, I want to come back and talk about communication. And Norca, I would like you to take that question about communication. All right. So in the chat room, this was really for Dr. Rodney, but I guess it can apply to everybody. One, TC asked, what can we do to overcome taboo?
Well, one of the things we need to do is to be very non-judgmental. We have to be able to think outside of the box. And we have to be able to respect each other. That comes and will take us a long way. So those are my two major things. We need to respect each other, and we need to at least show some respect.
Anybody else wants to start with that?
I think we also need to stop judging by perception. Because a lot of times we don't have the facts, and we perceive things, and because that's the way you perceive it, then that's the way you react toward it. So I think we really need to get the facts and not just be judging people because of what we perceive.
Okay. Charmin, anybody else wants to jump in?
I think in order for us to, we have to destigmatize suicide. And if suicide is destigmatized, it would lift the taboo. That's my take. That's how, and I strongly believe that.
Norca?
Stigma. Well, you have to put it out there. You just have to accept, you have to let people know this is what we thought, this is what we feel before, and try to openly discuss the topic. Openly discuss the topic without, like they said, no judgment. But you have to put it out there so folks can begin to hear it. And I don't mean just hear that the professional is saying it. Other folks have to buy into it, the everyday person. We as professionals can say everything we want, but the person who has to deal with their life daily has got to buy into this to understand that this is not right or this is not normal. Let's try and see if we can change this. Let's try something else because it's our future that's involved with this problem.
In the chat room, GHSP asks, and this is you, Dr. Rodney, what are some of the strategies being implemented to debunk the stereotypes when it comes to mental health issues in Guyana?
Well, some of the strategies that we need to consider is that the fact that it can happen to me, first of all. In other words, none of us were immune to that. For the simple reason, circumstances, social and otherwise, can drive us to that point. If you were, and I guess this must be an earlier caller, and I'm so glad that you mentioned this, because I mean, I can tell you from going to Guyana, I myself was taken by surprise with some of the situations that I encountered. And I can tell you, based on confidentiality, that this mental health issue, which involves suicide and other ills, is from the upper echelon to the lower echelon of society. As a matter of fact, I was asked to come to Guyana and open a practice. I mean, and I'm talking about people in high places. So this is not immune to any particular individual.
That you said that, Dr. Rodney. Norca, you want to make a comment on that? That suicide...
That wasn't what I was thinking about. I was thinking about changing the way people see mental illness. And when everyone thinks of mental illness in Guyana, for the most part, they think of the man or the woman walking the street that's mad. Folks who suffer from mental illness do not all look like that. You have to change that image. Anybody can be mentally ill. Let me explain. If you have been hit, or let's say your mother or father passed away, you can be depressed. You can be diagnosed as being mentally ill. It doesn't mean that you're going to walk the street. It just means that you have a problem that particular moment and need some extra help. So the image of mental illness has to change. I don't know if there are any Guyanese who are affluent enough or in the sports or entertainment who would come out and say, I've had an issue and I've overcome it or I'm dealing with it. The image that people have in their mind of mental illness has to change. And you've got to put up some, it's not the person on the street. That's not the only person that's mentally ill, trust me.
A question I ask for each of you. What are some things you would like to see happening around the suicide epidemic? Norca, you have the camera, so go ahead.
Some things I'd like to see around the suicide epidemic. Truthfully, I'm going to come out and explain before I say anything. I don't want to kick myself in the butt first. I want to see what they have in mind. I want to see everyone work collectively as Guyanese. And this is something that I've been fighting a long time for. Folks, it's like, it's them and us. It's not them and us, it's us. We're Guyanese. What I want people to understand is there is a cost associated with suicide, both financially, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. it costs. You need to start thinking about that. It costs. So everybody have to get together.
I want to try something. I'm going to ask each of you for your indulgence this afternoon. The chat room is buzzing. This was supposed to be a half-hour segment. What I would like to do, at 5 o'clock, I would like to take a very short break. The three of you are coming in via Zoom. I'm going to send you a new meeting ID to come back in. And so we can do another 25 minutes or so. Is this okay with everybody?
Sure.
Awesome. All right. So let me go back into the chat room. And SVP asked, what if the signs are subtle? Dr. Rodney, when you were on, that question came in. But I want to ask this question of Charmaine. Charmaine, what if the signs are subtle?
If you're not aware of the symptoms and the signs, if the signs are subtle, it would be extremely difficult for you to identify. So back to your opening question or comment of introducing this topic into the family or at the dinner table. If the signs are subtle, that parent or the guardian of that child or the spouse of the person may not be able to identify those signs.
I see. And Desiree, you want to start with this?
I think being observant is very important, and we can be deceived, like I was saying earlier. When someone wants to do something and they don't want you to know, they make it look okay, but you can't really like identify and make you think that everything is okay. And that in itself is a sign. People don't really look at that as, oh, okay, you're okay. But I think being observant, if you know the person well enough, there might be a better chance of you identifying those subtle signs, the signs that are really, really subtle. But yes, it can be very deceiving and dangerous as well.
Dr. Rodney?
What I'm hearing is masking the behavior. And a lot of times you will find that. Clinically, I've had individuals that said to me, hey, how you doing? I'm fine. Now, I look for the tone. I look for the facial expression. And I can tell you, or I've said to them, no, you're not fine. And so I will pull the person aside and say, come talk to me. Let's talk about it. I know you're not fine. And most of the time, by the time we're through with that conversation, I mean, come to realize that there were so many underlying issues that had I gone along with that initial approach, I could have lost that individual. But because you and I, as clinicians, we know that people will not easily divulge, especially if the relationship is not there. But I think we should not just settle for what it is, even though if it's not there, still probe, still try to find out, and you might be surprised to know what can happen by doing that.
On that note, I know I said 5 o'clock, but let's take a quick break.